welcome to Keyhole Conversations and peek into the secrets of working writers. It's always fun to see what secrets they hold, and today's guest is going to tell all on Hazel Hart. We have two guests today. One is Hazel Hart, the author, and the other is her character, Sadie Myers. Welcome to the show, Hazel. You've been a busy lady.
Well, yes, I have. You know, besides getting Keyhole Conversations up and running, getting those guests to interview, I'm also doing the NaNoWriMo, the novel writing in a month, and, you know, almost 1,700 words a day is a lot to write.
Well, you're a third of the way through, I think. You know, you're doing really well, better than I'm doing. Well, I'm your #1 fan, Hazel, and I've read all of your books, and I love all of them.
Thank you.
The thing I like about them the most is because you always have a surprise ending. Your characters are compelling, your setting's unusual, and this setting in the book, an unusual setting of a cult-like church. And so I'd like to know what kind of a relationship that Wes and Betty have that's been affected by this setting, and Sadie Myers is just wanting to tell us about that. Is that right?
Well, yes, you know, Sadie is Wes's grandmother, and she is so upset with me about the way I portrayed the church in that book. And she has just been bouncing around in my head, just demanding to talk about it and to set everybody straight. So, you know, she's given me a headache, and I'm going to have to let her talk.
Well, you better let her out. I'll tell you what, you go get Sadie, and while you're doing that, I will tell the readers or viewers about your other books. Okay?
All right. That sounds good.
All right. Now, the first one that we're going to be reviewing today is The Night Before Christmas, and we've already discussed that a little bit, and I'm sure Sadie will let you know all around about what's going on in that, and you'll certainly want to read it. Another of her books, all of these actually, are in hardback, not hardback, paperback, and she co-authored two other books, short story collections of dark fiction, The Dark Side of the Rainbow, and Edge of Nowhere. Well, let's see if Sadie's ready to come in now. So, Sadie, tell us, why did Hazel choose this particular setting, and where did she get the idea for this unusual story?
Well, you know, what can Hazel write about? She's from Kansas, small town. She didn't know anything else, and as far as the idea is concerned, well, she heard about it on a radio news report that some man had killed his children on Christmas Eve, and that's where she got the idea about my poor Wes, and you know, his drinking was always a cross for him to bear. But, you know, she didn't put nearly enough responsibility on that little twit he married.
Are you talking about Betty, his wife? I was under the impression that Wes drank and was abusive to Betty. Maybe you can set us straight on that.
Well, she made it look like everything was Wes's fault. She tried to be the boss in the family instead of letting him be the leader, as it's a husband's place to be. And celebrating Christmas, that pagan holiday, was more important to her than saving the souls of her children.
So how did Wes meet Betty?
Well, when Wes was 19, we argued, and he moved out of the house. He left home, he left the church, and he moved into a rented room in Betty's parents' house. And, well, it wasn't long till they got married, and that oldest girl was born 7 months after the wedding. You can see how she trapped him. And, you know, she came from a godless family, and she encouraged him to stay away from me and the church.
Well, Wes was already drinking, so what did Betty cause Wes to do?
Well, Wes always suffered from drinking. It was because his father and his grandfather, you know about the sins of the fathers, right? I marked a place right here in the Bible where it says there that God will by no means leave the guilty unpunished, visiting the iniquity of fathers on the children and on the grandchildren to the third and fourth generations. So, drinking was something that he couldn't really help, but Betty aggravated everything. It was her desire to teach those children pagan beliefs that made Wes so desperate to save their souls. And, it was like, that author, Hazel Hart, she made it look like Wes and our church were totally to blame when it was really Betty all along.
So, tell us, what deep dark secret is Hazel hiding? This is your chance to tell all about the author who penned this incredible story about Wes and Betty.
Well, I have to tell you that Hazel sometimes just can't control her characters. I mean, look at me. Do you think anybody can control me?
And there you have it, folks. The secret that tells us how uncontrollable Hazel's characters really are, but that's what makes for a very interesting read. I found the book exciting and unusual with an ending that surprised me, and it will probably surprise you too. And you can buy or download a sample of her books at smashwords.com, amazon.com, and don't forget to join us again when we take another peek into the life of another author. Until then, that's it for Keyhole Conversations.